This week on ANN, an Adventist evangelistic series in Zimbabwe makes significant contributions to local communities.
Adventists deliver aid after the U.S. state of Texas experiences record-breaking flooding.
And the Seventh-day Adventist Church remembers the life and contribution of an innovative media leader.
These stories and more coming up.
This is ANN, a service of the Seventh-day Adventist World Church. Thanks so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, national leaders and residents of Zimbabwe are praising the Seventh-day Adventist Church for its comprehensive outreach throughout the nation. Organizers are celebrating the spiritual and physical impact of Revelation of Hope as the two-week series draws to a close. More than 20,000 people have attended the nightly meetings, and thousands have received free health care provided by the Adventist Church. According to the Adventist Review, the nation's acting health and child welfare minister, Douglas Mambashora, told the church he is overwhelmed by the success and impact of the Health Expo. The minister also encouraged the Adventist Church to establish a hospital in the country. In addition to receiving health benefits, thousands have also committed their lives to Christ as a result of the series. Organizers say at least 30,000 people will be baptized by the end of the series.
Also during the Revelation of Hope series in Zimbabwe, church leaders and lay members constructed a new church in 6 days. The project was entitled Zunde, which is a Zimbabwean expression that represents collaboration and unity. The Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Southern Africa Indian Ocean region sent this report.
I reached here on Sunday morning. I found that some of my fellow men were busy excavating the foundations. On the 6th day, the painters and some of the carpenters were busy fitting the ceiling and painting.
We have been having very few members here. We know by the end of the week we will have a completed church, and the church will be full of people who are going to be baptized during the week.
Zunde is a concept which is lay-driven. The lay people come together to plan and execute evangelistic work. And when they do the work, they camp in a particular place and build a church as they do evangelism. So at the end of the evangelistic meeting, the church will be ready to be used by the members who will be baptized in that place. Then the church is presented to the new members.
May this pulpit always preach the Word of God.
This is just wonderful. This is what we call the mission of the church. The total participation that we are talking about in this division.
It's an inspiration to us.
Whenever anyone asks, what is that? You can tell them it is a product of the power of God. Come inside and we'll tell you about it.
A health clinic operated by the Seventh-day Adventist Church during the Revelation of Hope series has made a considerable impact on the nation. Leaders of Zimbabwe have praised the church's holistic ministry through the clinic. The Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Southern Africa Indian Ocean region sent this report.
We commend you for responding to the health needs of our people and joining hands with government in providing a service to the nation, especially the less privileged. In just these past days, you have attended to more than 12,500 people, those who have gone through various stations of the Health Expo.
We have more than 550 people who are facilitating in this Health Expo, and it has taken a lot of our health professionals and other volunteers to make it a success.
Dr. Ted Wilson, I wish to note that your church has done outstanding work in many areas, and the theme, your health is your wealth, is a good summary of the key message that all of us need to embrace to take personal responsibility about our health as individuals, families, and as Zimbabweans.
All workers in his church to work together to help bring about this wholeness, physical, mental, social, and spiritual. In fact, special counsel has been given from God that ministers, pastors of churches, and health professionals are to work together in a blended ministry.
This is really the right hand of the gospel, and we thank God that He has given us this message to proclaim to the world so that they will also know the revelation of hope which is in Jesus.
I want to thank all of you who are coming to the Revelation of Hope meetings just outside of this mall. All people, physically, mentally, socially.
Seventh-day Adventist humanitarians have also found a way to make a profound impact for Zimbabweans during the church's Revelation of Hope series. The Adventist Development and Relief Agency gave the city of Chaitungwiza 12 wells to provide residents with clean drinking water. Jason Brooks, Senior Technical Advisor for Water, Hygiene, and Sanitation at ADRA, told the Adventist Review the wells could completely transform a village. With access to wells within a community, chronic diseases related to contaminated water will decline, and women and children won't have to spend their days traveling for water.
Heavy rain in the U.S. state of Texas and Oklahoma have led to record-breaking floods that have killed at least 15 people and impacted thousands. As a result of the torrential rain, more than 500 homes were flooded in the city of Houston alone. Adventist Community Services in Texas has responded with the distribution of clothing and personal care kits and has collaborated with the Adventist Development and Relief Agency to distribute flood buckets that contain cleaning supplies.
Warren Judd, an innovative Seventh-day Adventist media professional, died this week at the age of 71. Originally from Australia, Judd came to the United States in 1986 to work with Adventist evangelist John Carter. Judd was called in 1988 as Vice President for a production at the Adventist Media Center and served as Chief Executive Officer of Adventist Media Productions. He then served as Interim President of the Adventist Media Center until December 2014. Judd was the mastermind behind all media and AV production at 5 General Conference sessions, including the upcoming session in San Antonio in July. He was also the main force behind the Family Reunion music tours that featured many Adventist musicians. The communication department of the Seventh-day Adventist Church sends its deepest sympathy and heartfelt prayers to Warren Judd's family. He will be greatly missed. Williams Costa Jr., Director of the Communication Department for the Seventh-day Adventist Church, has more on Judd's legacy to communication.
Warren Judd left a legacy. It was a huge contribution on the area of communication and music. As a communicator, he was responsible to build a wonderful infrastructure with the Media Center that we have in California. And as a musician, he created the Family Reunion. So both accomplishments will live forever because they are really meaningful in both areas, music and communication.
More than 800 people in a small community in Mexico received free health services through an initiative organized by an Adventist university. Nearly 135 teachers and students from Linda Vista Adventist University served the Rincon Chamula community, which is located in Mexico's poorest state. Relations between the university and its surrounding community have been hostile over the past few decades. While viewed as a local common practice, community members seized a large portion of the school's land in 1990. In response, the school petitioned the local court to help retrieve their property. Administrators of the university said it was only recently that the school made intentional efforts to make amends. The motivation was strengthened after leaders noticed the community's significant needs, especially with its links to drug activity and related violence. Through the health outreach, community members of all ages received checkups, dental services, eye exams, and lab services. Community members also had access to counseling, nutrition consultations, medication, and haircuts. Raul Lozano, president of Linda Vista University, said, "We have been surveying the community and talking to community leaders. We have come to the conclusion that a continuous program is needed in Rincon Chamula, and we will work to address its needs."
The Adventist Development and Relief Agency this week released an update on its relief efforts in Nepal. ADRA workers have provided aid in Nepal since the 7.8 magnitude earthquake rocked the nation, killed more than 8,000 people, and left thousands more displaced. ADRA has helped nearly 30,000 people in nearly 5,000 households. ADRA has also assisted in various projects, including distribution of food and shelter kits, water and sanitation awareness activities, and health services through mobile medical tents. To learn more about ADRA's efforts, visit adra.org.
One month ago, a devastating earthquake struck the nation of Nepal, leaving over 8,000 dead and millions of people homeless. A second major earthquake on May 12 caused more death, destruction, and homelessness. People are in shock and live in constant fear of more quakes to come. With many businesses closed down and the tourism industry flat, people's livelihoods have been lost. ADRA is actively providing relief to people still in need, delivering shelter kits, food, and other emergency supplies. You can help ADRA save lives and bring comfort to people who have lost everything. Please continue to remember the people of Nepal in your heart, your prayers, and your gifts. Thank you for your kind support.
And speaking of ADRA's work in Nepal, the ambassador of the Nepalese embassy to Brazil last week praised the work of the agency for supporting families in the need during the national emergency. Ambassador Rishi Achaida told ADRA Brazil, "I know well the excellent work that ADRA does in Nepal, especially in the area of health. Through its month-long fundraising efforts, ADRA Brazil has raised nearly $30,000 for the Nepalese disaster response."
Coming up, learn about a traveling exhibit on forgiveness in the United Kingdom.
Welcome back. And now for more news from our global church community.
A traveling exhibit within Seventh-day Adventist churches in the United Kingdom has sparked genuine conversation about what it truly means to forgive. The F word has traveled to Scotland and 2 counties in England and has drawn the attention of church and community members. The exhibit showcases 22 stories about people from various parts of the world, including South Africa, Israel, Palestine, and Northern Ireland, who have chosen to forgive people who have pained them deeply. Before its tour with the Seventh-day Adventist churches in Scotland and England, the exhibit has been displayed in 300 venues worldwide. The stories examine forgiveness as a healing process, which can ultimately lead to hope. While on tour in Adventist churches in the UK, pastors gave visitors the opportunity to debrief and reflect on what forgiveness meant to them and how they could work to forgive people in their own lives.
Hundreds of members in Ireland's capital city learned about the importance of healthy relationships and positive outlooks in relation to health last week during a day of fellowship. More than 500 people from various Seventh-day Adventist churches in Dublin attended presentations on creation health, which is a lifestyle and wellness program from Florida Hospital, an Adventist hospital in the U.S. state of Florida. During the Day of Fellowship, representatives from Florida Hospital explained the program's focus on holistic health. The Creation Health team also gave a 3-day training to Adventist pastors and health ministry leaders to help equip them to make the principles of Creation Health part of the DNA of the Adventist Church in Ireland. Leaders believe the collaboration with Creation Health and the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Ireland will make a lasting impact in Dublin.
Thousands of youth in Zambia received a spiritual revival and learned practical skills during a large-scale Pathfinder camporee in the nation. Nearly 8,000 people attended the Thy Will Be Done camporee, which was sponsored by the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Zambia. Youth were taught various skills including gardening, fish farming, and Christian salesmanship. Numerous church leaders also attended the event and encouraged the Pathfinders to develop a relationship with their Creator. The nation's Minister of Sport also addressed the youth and praised them for their organization and discipline. He also charged the Pathfinders to live as an example for all youth in Zambia.
After elementary students in the U.S. state of Illinois learned about children in Chad who often don't have enough food to eat, the students decided to embark on a challenge that could help them make a difference. The students of North Aurora Adventist Elementary set out to raise enough money to feed 100 children in Chad for 4 months. With determination and prayer, the students exceeded their goal. In addition to feeding children in Chad, the surplus funds will be used to pay for tuition and school supplies for additional children in Chad.
And finally in the news this week, a film crew from Voice of Hope Russia was recently granted access to shoot in one of Jerusalem's holiest sites. Record in Focus has more.
The Al-Aqsa Mosque is the third holiest site in Islam and stands in Jerusalem's Old City next to the Dome of the Rock, where tradition claims Abraham was prevented from sacrificing his son. In applying to film, the producers from the Voice of Hope Ministry in Russia emphasized that their purpose in filming was not to discuss politics, but was to explore the messages of ancient biblical prophets. To their surprise, they were allowed to film at the site, including the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Именно эта часть скалы, на которой Авраам должен был принести в жертву Исаака, и когда связал его, Бог сказал ему не делать этого, и вместо Исаака был принесен агнец.
Still ahead, learn about an online platform for translating videos.
But up next, learn about the contributions of a prominent Seventh-day Adventist scientist.
My daughter was sick, and she had to go to the hospital. And I was still working outside of the home. So my job, they didn't trust me. They felt that I wanted to stay home so bad with my kids that I would lie, or I would, cheat their time in order to be home with my children. And when people don't trust you like that at a job, that just makes you feel like, why should I even be here? So again, I prayed and I asked God to just please help me out of this situation. Please, I know you know the answer. I don't know what else I could do.
Welcome back. Tim Standish remembers the life and contribution of Seventh-day Adventist scientist Harold Coffin for this month's report from the Geoscience Research Institute.
We're experiencing a time of mourning here at the Geoscience Research Institute. On April 25, our friend and colleague Dr. Harold Coffin died. Harold was a soft-spoken man whose quiet brilliance endeared him to those who knew him. His natural modesty belied his amazing productivity as the author of numerous scientific papers, not to mention 6 books relating to the creation and the biblical record of history. Thousands of students at Adventist universities have studied his book, Origin by Design, and Adventist scientists well remember his research on the fossil forests of Yellowstone National Park. Perhaps fittingly, we will be premiering a new Faith and Science Council produced documentary on Harold Coffin's research in Yellowstone. at our Yes Creation presentations during the lunch and supper breaks at the General Conference session in San Antonio this July. If you're interested in the life and research of this amazing Adventist scientist, you won't want to miss seeing that documentary or any of the other amazing videos that'll be featured during Yes Creation programs. In the meantime, while we mourn the loss of Harold Coffin, we look forward with confidence, knowing that the same Creator God who knit Harold together in his mother's womb is coming soon. There will be a new creation, and God will wipe away every tear. There will be no more pain or death. Eternity will be that much better for the presence of Harold Coffin.
For this week's Tech Corner, Andre Brink will show you how you can become part of a new crowdsourced project for translating videos.
I'm sure you have heard of the term crowdsourcing. We need you as part of a worldwide team. Listen carefully. Coined in 2005, the word crowdsourcing can apply to a wide range of activities. According to Wikipedia, crowdsourcing is the process of obtaining needed services, ideas, or content by soliciting contributions from a large group of people, and especially from an online community. Crowdsourcing combines the efforts of numerous self-identified volunteers or part-time workers, where each contributor of their own initiative adds a small portion to the greater result. We need volunteers to transcribe and translate videos. Subtitles and closed captions are an excellent way in which to provide video material in the languages of the world. Join Team Adventist and become a part of a worldwide community of volunteers. All we need from you is a few hours per month. Using the powerful web-based Amara platform, you will be able to sign up and become a member of the community. Then we will need people to transcribe the videos. It's easy. All you do is listen to a sentence, then type it. Once you have completed the video, you can go back and check your work. You are able to correct mistakes and also perfect the timing. It's very simple and you will be up and running in minutes. There are videos that will train you in using the system. Once the video is transcribed, it will then be translated. You simply translate from English to your particular language. Once the videos are checked by a language coordinator, the videos are published instantaneously on the web. Very soon, there will be a new Hope channel for deaf and hearing impaired people. Initially, this web channel will be available in English, Spanish, Portuguese, French and German. Later, more languages will be added. Only an estimated 2% of deaf people are Christian. By becoming part of the team, you will help spread the gospel to millions of people around the world. When many people collectively do a little, together we can do a lot.
Do you have content that you want to share online to a specific audience? For this week's social media report, Angela Taipei shares how to target audiences on Facebook.
One of the most important tips that public speakers get is to know your audience. The same is true in social media. For many pages, your audience is diverse and potentially worldwide, but you want your content to be relevant and interesting to those who see it. One of the frequently forgotten tools in Facebook is targeting. When you target a post, it appears in the news feed of those who would be most interested, which can increase your engagement. You can target your posts based on gender, relationship status, educational status, age, location, language, or interest. You can also select multiple target categories. This is a wonderful tool if, for example, your church is hosting a training event for Spanish-speaking women who live in your city. If you want to post the same thing in multiple languages, you can post a targeted picture, for example, then hide the picture from your page's timeline. It will still appear in your fans' news feed and in your page's photos, but not as prominently on your page. When targeting posts, it will appear to less people the more specific of an audience that you choose. However, it's more likely to show up to those who would be interested. Remember, unless you're paying to promote the post, it will only appear to those who follow your page already and those who it's shared with. In the same list of targeting options, you'll see an option to choose an end date for your post. This may be useful if you're featuring a special offer which expires or are encouraging fans to sign up for an event which will be irrelevant after a certain day. Try out Facebook post targeting to get your information in front of the right eyes.
Now let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history. This week, learn about the denomination's expansion beyond the borders of North America.
In 1884, this was the week the first conference outside North America was organized. From May 24 through 27, Adventist leaders from France, Germany and Switzerland met in Bienne, a small town near the Swiss capital, Bern. Presiding over the meeting was General Conference President George I. Butler, who was then on the first trip ever taken by a serving GC president outside North America. The meeting formed 7 local churches with 202 members into what was called the Switzerland Conference. But in 1888, 4 years later, it changed its name to the Central European Conference, reflecting the fact that churches and membership extended beyond Switzerland. That conference is the mother conference of today's 2 European divisions. And a recent event in our history, just over a year ago on May 27, 2014, the distinguished Adventist theologian Gordon Hyde died 3 weeks short of his 96th birthday. The son of British missionary parents, Hyde pastored in Wisconsin before teaching theology at Southern Missionary College, as it was then called, for 13 years, and he then served at the General Conference, directing the Biblical Research Institute, for another 13 years, before returning to Southern Adventist University as it had become as head of its theology department. Hyde was one of the most significant Adventist theologians of the late 20th century, playing a significant role in discussions about the ordination of women and righteousness by faith, and he was a key influence on the drafting of the Seventh-day Adventist Church's fundamental beliefs voted at the 1980 General Conference session. That was this week in Adventist history.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
In the meantime, join our global conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can connect with other Adventists worldwide through more stories, photos, and videos. Visit Facebook/Adventist News, Twitter/Adventist Church, and Instagram at Adventist Church.
Our good news for this week comes from the book of John, chapter 5, verse 24. In the passage, Jesus says, "Very truly I tell you, whoever hears my word and believes him who sent me has eternal life and will not be judged, but has crossed over from death to life."
Amen.
Amen.
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.